YouTube announced that they are going to create a documentary for Twice, and Monsta X is actually slated to perform in Ellen. Those are two very important milestones in K-pop. But I have to admit that I was very, very surprised. I thought that if there was any group that will be able to get there first, it was going to be Blackpink. So there are two very important questions. Number one, why are those two milestones very important? Number two, who is going to most likely make it next in North America? Let's remember that YouTube actually has a very, very unique business model in that it is the public that creates the products, and it is also the public that consumes the products. They have built their business on organic trends. So it is essentially the market that tells YouTube what they want to consume next, what is the next big thing, what is the trend, etc. Through the years, they have actually developed different tools that helps them determine what is the next big thing, or what are the products that they can create that will be most beneficial to their public, and in turn most beneficial to their business. Their decision to go for Twice means that according to them, according to their analytics and according to their business analysis, it is more beneficial for their public and for them to go for Twice. But before we understand why YouTube went for Twice, let's understand another thing. Unique views don't always necessarily mean unique person. So just because one video got 1 million views doesn't mean that there are actually 1 million people who watched the video. There are certain qualifications for a view to be counted. In theory, if you view the video on one device using one internet connection, that's one unique view. If you keep on replaying that video, chances are the replays are not going to be counted anymore because that's not unique anymore. But then it's also very possible that somebody visited my house, for example, and I decided to show the videos. I decided to play it on the phone. So if you actually played the video, for example, the next day at a different time, that view is most likely also going to count, because YouTube has to allow for certain situations that technology might not always tell them. Okay. Now, if there is a pattern, for example, I always watch this video on this connection and this device at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I would always play it 10 times, then that's a pattern. So those views are not going to count, most likely. So it's very possible for one person to actually amass 100 views in one day, just as long as there is no pattern. So now that's called plowing of views. It is the practice of increasing the views of a certain video using legit means, but not necessarily unique, not necessarily authentic. Now, given that Blackpink has a very limited discography for now and they have limited number of videos, then it's actually easier for their fans to push these videos up in terms of views because there's limited choices. It is very possible that according to the algorithm and the business analytics of YouTube, Blackpink may have millions and millions of legit views, but they are probably not always unique or probably not always authentic, meaning there are probably so many devices that are using the same internet connections, the same IP. That implies that they are actually watching the videos, but it's not necessarily a unique person watching the video. Twice, on the other hand, is probably getting less views, certainly getting less views, but they have more unique people viewing their videos. In all fairness to Blackpink, they are probably in negotiations with another company. From a business perspective, that doesn't make any sense. Number one, if they have sealed a deal with another company already, they most likely have already made the announcement. The announcement of YouTube working with Twice happened so many weeks ago already. Now, if they haven't actually sealed a deal and they decided to turn down YouTube, for example, just so they can entertain the possibility of working with another company, then that's a bad business practice. But so it's less likely. Another possibility is that they are actually working with YouTube and that they're just waiting for their next album, maybe. Now, it's also possible that after this mess that happened with this Indian rapper, they have just lost all of their faith on YouTube. Less likely, because this event with the Indian rapper actually happened after the announcement of YouTube that they're going to work with Twice. Now, this theory seems to be supported with the attendance of their concert. Twice actually sold out all of their venues. Blackpink sold out some, but not all. However, it is important to note that Blackpink actually had more concerts in the US. Twice had 3, one in New York, one in Chicago, and one in California. I do not think that it is Blackpink's fault. I just think that it was too much too soon. If they held back a little, played select venues first before going full force in their next tour, I think that would have been more effective. They would have sold out all of their venues. Now, another possible reason is actually the limited activities of Blackpink. They don't do a lot of appearances. They don't come out with a lot of songs. In comparison to Twice, they have at least two comebacks a year, and they are very active in guestings in TV shows. It is less likely from a business perspective, again, because it doesn't really matter. If the public wants a certain group or a certain product, then I'm going to make it happen. If I need to create shows just so I could have something for the documentary, I will do it. But the lack of material is not going to stop me. If that's what the public wants, that's what the public will get. Next is Monsta X. Congratulations to Monsta X. I actually was able to watch them perform, and I was very, very surprised on how good they are. I didn't expect that they were going to be very good live. They sound good, and they actually look good on stage. For now, they are announced as a musical performer. I do not think that they are scheduled to be interviewed, but when BTS actually made their first appearance in Ellen, they also weren't supposed to be interviewed. They were just supposed to perform. But because Ellen realized that they were really very popular based on the reaction of the audience, then she decided to interview them. So if Monsta X is invited as a musical guest, it's still very possible for them to get an interview. So to all Monsta X fans out there, just show your support, be very, very loud, and show Ellen how good your group is. And I'm very, very sure that they are going to get interviewed. Now, let's remember that Monsta X and Blackpink both actually have a label in the US. Monsta X is under Epic Records, and Blackpink is actually under Interscope Records. Between the two, Interscope is actually the bigger one. So in theory, if there's anybody who's going to have an influence in all of those TV shows, it is going to be Interscope. I think everybody knows this. The talent is not enough for you to make it big in the US or in North America. You need connections, you need the right management. So the management company of an artist actually plays a very, very important role, because they are the ones that will market you. They are the ones that have direct connections to TV shows, producers, networks. But then again, given that Interscope is actually bigger, then I was surprised that Monsta X is actually the one who got the slot in Ellen over Blackpink. Now, it is also, again, possible that it is because of their collaboration with French Montana. However, French Montana is actually not very relevant anymore. He's still relevant, but not as relevant as he used to be. And if you actually listen to that song that he has with Monsta X, it would have been better if it was just Monsta X, quite honestly. But yeah, that could actually play a role, given that they have a collaboration with the North American artist. But there have been some talks that Blackpink is going to collaborate with the producer of Ariana Grande, and probably Ariana Grande herself. If that happens, that is going to be huge. So I hope that happens for them. But to give credit to Monsta X, I just want to point out that this TV shows, TV networks, all of these shows, the producers, the directors, they do their research. If they are going to give their airtime to somebody, especially to a new group, new in North America, they do their due diligence. Number one, you need to have the fan base, and number two, you need to have the presence on stage. You need to perform well, and Monsta X has proven that. When they performed in Good Morning America, along with other shows that they have guested on, they performed really, really well. In terms of concert attendance, they actually sold out their venues in North America. They didn't sell out all of their venues in Asia. I think, well, actually it was just one in Malaysia, but I think it was a bad decision for the promoter to do it on the day that they did it, because there was an event, like a national event or something, on the day that they performed. However, I still do think that of the three groups, it is going to be Blackpink who will make it big next. Number one, they are backed up by a really big company. Interscope is a really, really good management company. Number two, they do have that image, that fierce kind of image that the North American market is a bit more familiar to. Three, if they are actually able to make this collaborations with these big producers and these big artists, that's another way in. Number four, they have more numbers to show. The records that they have broken in YouTube, the records that they have broken in Billboard, those are huge things. That's something that their management company can actually use when they pitch Blackpink to different shows. On the other hand, I think Monsta X, the only thing is that they shouldn't compromise who they are as a group, their artistic identity, their creative identity, just so they can break the North American market. The latest song that they have with French Montana, I don't know if I am correct, but I think this is not their song. They did not write it, and the group is actually known for writing and producing their own songs. But I think this one was given to them by their management company, which I think is a really wrong decision. For any artist in Asia who's trying to break the North American market, you can't beat North America in their own game. You're gonna have to go in there carrying your own identity, your own color, and that's what's going to make it. So I think it's really going to be better if Monsta X is just going to release their own songs that is written by them and produced by them, because their songs are really good. You have to check them out. They're really good. I think it's good that they have a managed company that's backing them up, but I think the management company will have to trust the boys to create their own songs and to create their own music. If they do that, combine it with the power and the influence of their management company, I think they're there. I think they will make it. Now for Twice. I'm actually a fan of Twice. The thing is that this is a very unfamiliar image for North America. This is not the kind of product that North America would usually consume. But if I go back to what I just said about Monsta X, and that is to keep their own identity, if I apply the same rule to Twice, I will not be surprised if I am proven wrong. The pleasant, cute, and fresh image of Twice, that's very Korean and that's very Asian, and that is very not North America. The secret is for this Asian performers, for these Asian artists to come into North America carrying their own identity. If Twice is able to execute well, if they can consistently spit out new contents, quality songs and music, it will not surprise me if they actually zoom past everybody else. The other thing that I would wish, or actually just want to happen, is for people to stop comparing everybody to BTS. I think each of this group, Monsta X, Blackpink, and Twice, they are their own selves, and they should be measured according to their own credits and not to the standard that another group has set. Now for Monsta X and for Blackpink, because both of them have a North American label, I think they shouldn't be pushed too hard too fast. They need to be incubated. They need to be incubated for quite some time, and they should be allowed to develop their own identity. So yeah, by the way, the next album of Twice actually features their own members in the songwriting. I think that's a very good sign. They are finally being given the chance to make their own creative contribution to their own songs. I hope that JYP keeps it up, and I hope that each of the members get the chance to show off their own creative growth.